The 5 non-obvious steps startups must take to build a high-performance team. The most important indicator of whether your startup will succeed is your ability to build a high-performance team. There are the obvious things you need to do to build your team, like spend time on recruiting and compensate your team well. These are obvious things. Today's video is about the 5 not so obvious things you need so your team performs at a high level. You'll especially want to hear the 5th thing because it's critical to any successful startup team effort and nobody talks about it. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. I was recruiting a really good engineer to join our team. His previous employer was another startup that had just closed its doors. I asked the engineer what had gone wrong, and he said, the 2 founders were fighting all the time. No one could get anything done. This leads directly to the first non-obvious thing you need to do to build a high-performance team. It's number 1 on our list. Make sure you and your co-founders are cultural fits. Your company culture affects everything you do. And if you and your co-founders are not working well together, there is no way your team will work well together. Trust me on this. For example, there's a CEO I've been advising who has 2 co-founders. His co-founders are immature and undisciplined. It's just like the engineer I was recruiting said to me. No one can get anything done if the founders are fighting. It wasn't until the CEO got his co-founders working well with him that the rest of the team began performing at a high level. Number 2, set goals with your team. One of the most surprising things I've seen with every high-performance team I've worked with is that great talent actually wants to be managed. They want to have specific goals to achieve. There are 2 keys to doing this right. The first key is set the goals for each team member in conjunction with the team member. In other words, get their input. Then, mutually come to an agreement on the goal. Remember to use the who will do what by when process when setting goals. You want one person to be responsible for each goal. Then you want the goal to be crystal clear. Finally, there needs to be a specific date when the goal will be completed by. This leads to the 3rd non-obvious thing you need to do. Number 3, have one-on-ones with your team. High-performing team members want to be managed. Every manager should have regular one-on-ones with each team member. Done correctly, one-on-ones are critical to keeping morale high. Think of one-on-ones as your team's chance to talk directly to you. So you want to encourage each of your direct reports to come prepared to the meeting. Then have them start the meeting with the 3 most important things on their mind. This is their time to talk to you. Talk through with them what's going on. Then you get your turn at the end of the meeting to provide guidance and feedback. It's almost like each weekly one-on-one is a mini review of how they're doing. You'll know you've gotten this right if your team feels there are no surprises when you give them your yearly review. Number 4, be transparent. High performers, in my experience, demand to be in the know. So, you should work hard to share as much information about the company as you can with your team. Violate this one at your own risk, but you don't want to hold back. Yes, share the good news with your team. More importantly, you want to share the bad news with your team. Don't worry about your team quitting on you if there's bad news. Trust me, they won't if you level with them. Instead, you'll end up with a team that has your back. For example, my company reached a critical stage where we had to put every employee on minimum wage for 6 weeks. I was worried about the team quitting. However, no one quit. I credit our transparency with the team building the goodwill necessary to weather that tough period. Number 5, this is the most important one of the group. Foster a culture where it's okay to ask for help. This is the toughest thing to master, but it's so worth trying to get your team to do. Let me start with why this is so important. Everyone on your team is going to have various goals they need to achieve within a certain period of time. Problems happen when someone misses a completion date and doesn't tell anyone they're going to miss until the date arrives. This gives you no choice but to push out the schedule. And that's how a January launch date becomes a December launch date or worse. However, there's a better way to do this. And that better way is teaching your team to ask for help immediately when they see they are going to miss a schedule date. The problem is, asking for help goes against everything most people have been taught their whole life. Usually people believe it's a sign of weakness. It goes against human nature. However, if you consistently praise people for asking for help immediately and gently teach people that not asking for help hurts the company and them, you can begin making a huge difference. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. It's guaranteed that some team members are going to need help, so helping them and praising the behavior of asking for help as a sign of strength will keep your high-performing team performing at a high level, and actually you'll meet your commitments, which is going to make you stand out versus every other startup on the planet. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. Now, here's a summary of what we've learned today. Number 1, if you and your co-founders are not working well together, there is no way your team will work well together. Number 2, great talent actually wants to be managed. Number 3, done correctly, one-on-ones with your direct reports are critical to keeping morale high. Number 4, you should work hard to share as much information about the company as you can with your team. And finally, number 5, most importantly, getting your team to quickly ask for help will keep your high-performance team performing at a high level and actually meeting the company's commitments, as I said earlier. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the video at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.